The decriminalization of marijuana. You didn't mention that one. And expunging.
How do I forget that?
Yeah, I
You know,
forgot
they
that.
say that was an election ploy. And
Yes.
I keep hearing these arguments that because we decriminalize marijuana, that there has been an increase in the amount of mental health cases. Now, I want to say to those individuals who continue to promote that nonsense that they need to cease and desist because they don't have any such empirical evidence to confirm that, one, that there has been an increase in the use of marijuana by our youth, and two, that any increase in mental health cases is as a result of the use of marijuana. Where's the empirical evidence? They don't even have any anecdotal evidence. I mean, people get ill, mentally ill routinely. I mean, from the time we grew up, we know that we had classmates from time to time that they even smoked marijuana and they became mentally ill for various reasons. Mm-hmm. So as soon as somebody gets mentally ill, especially a young person, there's this knee-jerk reaction that is because they use marijuana. There's no evidence that even using marijuana, and even if they're using marijuana, there's no evidence that it's marijuana that caused the mental illness. And they seem to forget too that it is illegal for anyone to serve a youth marijuana in this country. Mm-hmm. The law is very clear. So this notion that so we have been given people got another one here. You have the picture there? Yes. The law is very clear. Where I would say that is a gap which we'll fill very soon is that we need to have greater public awareness to reduce the demand for substances. The fire engines that are making noise about and so on. And that is currently in train, but this and we're gonna increase the relief. Blaming so tell you we better that marijuana for every social problem in the country is utter nonsense. And if I was a Rastafarian, for example, because they consider it as part of the sacrament, I will be very offended by Harold Lovell and his UPP members continuing to demonize marijuana when they don't have any supporting evidence.
Well said.
And the other thing too, one of the main reasons why we decriminalized marijuana was to protect the very youth, because many of them they were criminalized for just simply smoking a spliff. Mm-hmm. And you're telling me that we were wrong to do that? Really?
But PM, let me also ask you, have we expunged the records of persons who were convicted for minor charges with marijuana?
I believe it has been done, but not as broadly as I would like to see it. I still think that there are a few people who are still struggling to get their records expunged. I will remind the AG to try and accelerate the process. I think we have a little issue is whether or not they were trafficking or if they're using it for recreational purposes, which is sometimes, based on the quantities, it's a little difficult. And I'll say this too. I've heard the argument that maybe the quantity that we have decriminalized is not sufficient. So I'm going to ask, Minister Marshall, who had assisted us initially, Samantha Marshall, and maybe the Minister of Education, Minister of Ecclesiastical Affairs, to consult and to determine whether or not we should not increase the amounts, maybe double the amount from 15 to 30 grams. Again, just a suggestion, but again, we have to consult before we make a final determination.
Bring it up to an ounce.